tables for baseball looking forward. We are.
Good morning and welcome to HECC Live. This is our very first podcast in our podcast series this week. I'm Kyle Vinefor and I'm joined with Kurt and Jenna today, and we're glad that you could join us online. It's going to be an awesome week at HECC this year. We have a lot of new things coming to you that we've never done before. We've got one of the largest crowds that are going to be down here, the most exhibitors that wanted to join us, and so I'm very excited for this year's conference. If you're joining us online, we're sorry you were unable to make it. Hopefully you can make it either other days or maybe already put on your calendar for next year. But today we're just going to talk a little bit with Jenna Cooper, one of the co-chairs for this year's conference, and talk a little bit about, if this is your first year at HECC, what are some of the things that you want to make sure that you get on your to-do list while you're down here in downtown Indianapolis. And so, Kurt, you want to share anything with us this morning, kicking off today?
So one thing that everybody noticed coming in is that we are in a great spot of Indianapolis, and this building is definitely one to take a little bit of time to stop and look at its character and look at its history of its place in Indianapolis. So once you're in this main ballroom, definitely take a chance to look up at the stained glass on both ends. You can kind of see it behind me there and above you on the ceiling. And it's throughout. Even on the hotel side, there's a lot of great history of this space. Take time for that as you're going around checking out our vendors.
You can see just from my camera there, the vendors are already starting to set up. That'll be opening at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock today. And so there will be tons of people in here very shortly, but we definitely have the best view in here for this podcast. And I love this building.
Pretty amazing amount of information out there on the floor of all those vendors, all the great things that they're bringing in. Email have access to people that a lot of us have to email and have that face-to-face. It's going to be a great time this week.
Well, Jet, I always like to start off with kind of softball question for you.
I love softball.
So, what was for breakfast this morning, right before you get preparing for this first day of the conference?
We have a breakfast buffet that we get to take part in every day all year. So I had some bacon, had a lot of coffee, and some eggs. Had to get some protein in as well. So, great breakfast.
Kurt, what about you?
I started the day off, a little lighter today. I had a couple pieces of bacon and 2 or 3 cups of coffee. And I'll probably switch to maybe a sugar-free Red Bull here in a little bit. So if I seem a little jittery, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is definitely a long day. Make sure that you have some good stomach starting out the day, especially walking around all the different sessions and all the exhibitor space. Mine was the same. We got to have our eggs and I love the hash browns. The Hoosier hash browns down here. Indiana hash browns are awesome. Talking about this year's conference, if you were a first-time visitor to this conference, Jenna, what would be, say, 3 things that you think everyone that should be on their to-do list?
So definitely look for HECC board members. We all wear the same shirts every day. So we're wearing lime green today. Look for us to ask questions if you have any. I would say number 1 is we have a lot of really great speakers here. We have over 250 sessions throughout the 2.5 days. So number 1 is learn a lot, share a lot, enjoy the networking, which is what we're all about here. Number 2, like we mentioned, the exhibitors are fantastic. Definitely visit the booths. They have some cool giveaways, some cool swag for you. Exhibitors are very excited to be here. They love HECC as well. There's a wait list of over 65 exhibitors who really want to be here, but we didn't have the space for them. So exhibitors are excited to be here for sure. The third thing I would say is, like Kurt mentioned, there's a ton of beautiful rooms in this space. One of my favorites is the Illinois Street Ballroom. There's a beautiful wall of windows. You can look out on the town. There are a lot of great sessions in there as well. It's one of the places you can get lunch throughout the conference. So nice buffet lunch in the ballroom. There's also going to be awards and a reception on Thursday afternoon. So check that out. And we're excited. We'll talk a little bit more about the tool in a little bit, but the For the Win robotics drone. They also have a cage set up in the Illinois Street Ballroom. So we're not allowed to fly the drones in this building because it's historic, but you can fly it in the safety of a caged net in the ballroom as well. So I would say those are my top three.
I snuck up there yesterday to check out the cage. I heard drone flying in the cage. It's a big cage.
It's
bigger
nice.
than I thought it was going to be.
It's 10 by 20 by 10, so
It'd be a
nice
lot of
place
fun.
for you to try out the drone and get excited about it.
Hopefully, we'll see somebody in the build one in the classroom.
Absolutely.
I see that as something that Kurt would do in the classroom. So, Kurt, what are some of the things that you would add to your list of must-dos at the conference?
You know, the conference for me has always been about relationships, not only with being able to meet vendors, but coming into this space with all these like-minded people and being able to just find a moment to grab a cup of coffee or sit down, or at the end of the session may have let out a little bit early or started a little bit late, and start building that Rolodex of people you're going to call to solve problems that you may not even know you have yet.
Yep.
That's a big one for me.
It's like a big reunion when we're all down here. It's a great time.
Definitely. I think the app is vital. We have so many little nooks and crannies in this historic building. And so some of the sessions, you know, like, where in the world is Edison? And if you have that app downloaded, you can go in there and find your session that you've registered for, click the map, and it'll show you exactly where that's located. And that's also where we make announcements for drawings that we have, as well as those winners for the drawings every day. Kurt did a great job with the Plinko, and so every day, the fact that we have someone that's going to have a chance to play Plinko for cash is always a cool thing. But you can also find all of our vendors in there, as well as all the speakers. A lot of great information is found inside that app. So I would definitely say make sure you download that app and utilize it throughout the conference.
And everything is searchable, so if you know someone who's speaking, you can click on their name in the app and see what other sessions they're presenting. If you know a booth number or an exhibitor name, you can search by that. We also encourage you inside of the app or the web link to open up each of your sessions that you attend and fill out session feedback. That really helps us in the years forward plan for which sessions to bring back because they were such a huge hit, or give some great quality feedback to your speakers as well. So make sure you do that for all of your sessions.
I think we must have promoted the continental breakfast a little more this year, because the line to get coffee and pastries this morning was down the hallway. I think it was longer than registration at one point.
We're working on that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good problem to have, is the fact that we have people that are able to utilize and get a little snack before they head into that first session at 9 o'clock this morning.
And if you haven't had the coffee here, it's really good coffee.
Yeah, one more thing about the app too. On the agenda, you'll see a session for the annual meeting, awards, and reception. During that annual meeting, we have a ballot open for our next 5 board members to join us for their 4-year term. So that's how we conduct the ballot. So you'll need to open up the app and vote whenever we vote in that.
One of the things I know when I first started attending HECC is I thought that when it say voting for members of HECC, I'm like, well, that's not for me. I'm not part of that. But that's one of the misnomer that I think a lot of people have, is that doesn't apply to them. But definitely, if you are attending HECC, you are a member of the HECC organization, and we want you to go in there and vote and give your feedback, and because that's what makes us better.
And come to the meeting later this week.
Yeah.
We have great representation from all around the state. So the way that the ballot works is we pick a certain amount of people from each region. So it's great to get voices from all over the state to help drive the conference and help drive engagement and networking throughout the year for you all as well.
All right, now, so I gave this question to you in advance because this is one of the ones that I know what my answer is already, but I'm curious to hear what yours is. What is one of the classic tech that's come out over the years that you thought, this one is going to be innovative, everyone's going to want one of these things, that just didn't quite take off? What would be one that you would think about?
I honestly struggled with this a lot. I wanted to steal your answer when you told me the Microsoft Zoom. Spoiler alert, but I was thinking of all the cool tech things that I've had over the years. I was thinking the Tamagotchi, but that was a hit, I believe, for a little while. One thing, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but one thing that came out several years ago was a Kuno tablet, which is something that we thought was revolutionary. Some schools bought in really, really early, thinking that that's where they would get all of their curriculum and digital content. But I think that was kind of a
we got John Humphrey on here, former board member, and I love it. The Amazon Echo, which there's quite the story when we had the Amazon Echo when that was just first coming out, the first generation.
Yeah.
That might be its own podcast.
Yes.
There's still a lot of Echo Dots around.
I still have mine at my house. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have a Zoom, but I had a Diamond Rio MP3 player when they first came out. And I can tell you I paid extra to be able to have those 3 extra songs. So I know those 6 songs that I had very well. Wrote a lot of grass.
Well, anyone that knows me knows I'm the Microsoft guy in the world of Google. And so I had the Microsoft soon, and I'm like, yeah, you guys can have your iPods. This thing is awesome with the live tiles. This is great. I love this. And I'm not sure whatever happened to it, but I had the Windows Phone with their live tiles on there as well, which once again just couldn't get the app support to go in there as well. But definitely good ideas for tech that just didn't survive. Let's see. You know, one of the things I get asked all the time when I'm kind of in the hallways, where can we find the bathrooms? So, Jenna, where can we find bathrooms here at Union Station?
We made an extra walkway to the main bathrooms this year, so it's a little easier to see and find your way to. But in the main Union Station hallway, there's registration tables. So one of the bathrooms is kind of tucked in behind our HECC board member attendee service desk. That's the main over here. There's also some tucked in some of these hallways in the Union Station. There's one in the back right corner of one of the hallways, just past Nicholsly in some of those booths back there. And then the hotel side has some bathrooms on the main hallway in the back there where all the sessions take place. Like I said, if you look for anyone in the green shirt, we'll point you in the right direction.
Very cool. One of the big changes this year, besides this podcast, is the way that we do lunch. For years, if you've attended HECC, we've had the box lunches, and trying to pass those out from the board side was always an ordeal. But this year, Bill Rader, and one of his grand ideas was, why don't we try the taco bar has been kind of successful? Why don't we just go to buffet stuff? So why don't you tell us a little bit about the lunch this year?
Yeah, so we're providing lunch Wednesday and Thursday. Like Kyle said, it's a buffet. Today is a better burger bar, so there are lots of options there to order the burger, including vegetarian and gluten-free options. Tomorrow's the classic taco bar with churros for dessert, so we're excited about that. The lunches run from 11 to 1:30, so you should be able to find a little window of time between your sessions to grab a lunch and sit down and, again, network with people at your table, which is the best part of it, in my opinion. The lunch locations are the Illinois Street Ballroom, which I mentioned before, which is kind of that upstairs hallway that connects to the Crown and Union Station. And then you can also go to the Grand Central meeting rooms. So Grand Central A, B, C, and D are all opened up this year. So you can, again, get some lunch on a buffet and sit down and chat about what you've done so far or what you're excited about.
One of the things I really like about moving to just the buffet style is, every year we would ask, do you have any dietary restrictions? And we've always tried to make sure that we gave many options. Moving to only buffet style, it puts that into the attendees' hands, and they can choose exactly what they can eat, what they can't eat, or what they want, what they don't.
Yeah.
Kurt, what are you excited for about the lunch buffets? Which one's your favorite?
Oh, I've had that taco bar one several times. It's a quality lunch. It's really good food. I'm excited to see this burger bar though. See what kind of toppings we have and where that can go and what sides. So if it's half as good as the taco bar, it's going to be a win all the way around. Definitely coming from a box lunch. Yeah, I think everybody, our attendees, are really going to enjoy having those hot lunches every day.
Well, I know yesterday as we were setting up, I was smelling the hamburgers cooking out the ovens. So I'm eager to see what it looks like.
The chef takes care of us here. They do a pretty good.
They do a great job. Another question that I hear a lot as I'm wearing my green shirt down the hallways is, what are the drop boxes and where can I find them? So we don't necessarily always tell exactly where they're located, but what can you tell a new attendee?
So Tempest, it's a bright red box with a little slit at the top. It says Dropbox. It's very well labeled. We have 3 of them. So we try to put one in the main exhibitor hall, which is right behind the Kurt. You'll have to, of course, kind of scavenge funds. We also put one of them in one of the 2 hallways of booths and session rooms here on the Union Station, and then we put one around the hotel side. It's a great fun exhibitor, like I mentioned, but it's also a great way for us to get to explore the exhibitor halls and spaces and interact with the exhibitors that are here. So kind of a win-win. We draw the prizes in the afternoons from those drop boxes. We'll announce the winner at the shop notification, and then we'll meet the winner down by the registration table over here on the Union Station and do a great Funko game, which is hand built in the curtain. So it's really a fun time. We used to do a cash booth with the leaf blowers, the money's flying around. You have to try to catch as much cash as you can. But I think the Funko board was a huge hit this past year.
The cash booth was always fun to watch. A little more difficult to maintain.
Yes.
A little more to move around.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. Kurt does a great job of, we come up with the crazy ideas for these things and I can make it happen. And so he does a great job with that.
Kurt's very handy. He and his students actually have printed all of the signs that are being up to help, again, draw or show some recognition to the exhibitors that are here. So thanks for doing all of that.
No problem.
Great signage.
Easy to do for such a great organization. So one thing that's cool about this conference is there's a tool involved. So what can you tell us about this year's tool? I know we've touched on it a little bit. You shouldn't be flying it out in the building, and if you have a cage for it, where do they go to pick it up? Or how's that process work?
Yeah. We're super excited about the educational tool this year. We've been talking about a drone for a long time on the board. We always go through and try to find some cool things that would be relevant and within our price range for this conference. But we chose the For the Win Hopper drone this year. It's a great local they have local ties here. They have built the drone. A lot of the parts were made in Roseville. So it's a great cool tool. Drones are exciting, but it's also very educational. So you actually build the drone, you assemble it yourself. So that way, if something breaks, you kind of know how to take it apart and fix it. But you build it, code it, fly it. It's built for education. There's an educator portal that they're actually giving us lifetime access to. So we're excited. They're very excited to be here. We pass out the drones or the tool every year in the Union Station hallway by the exhibitor table. And the For the Win robotics booth is right next to that table where you pick it up. Their section room is right next to their booth, so they're all right in that main hallway area. They have 3 sections lined up. They have some 3-hour workshops every morning, so you can really get a good deep dive of how to build it, how to code it, get access to that portal, learn all about it. And then they also offer some 1-hour sessions for just a quick, hey, what is this? This is awesome. Tell me more. So definitely check out For the Win Robotics. They're color coordinated with our lime green, but they're excited to be here. They flew out here. We actually got the first 1,000 or so off of the production line, so they're excited to get this out and let you experience it.
Their booth is even lime green. That's really cool what they're doing. So picking up those drones that's right across from that ground bar where there was breakfast this morning, and you should have had a ticket printed out with your name tag. You can take that ticket and turn that in. Be able to pick up that drone. You don't have to do it today, but you just have to do it at some point when you're in the conference if you want to take it home. So
comes in a nice carrying case, and comes with, I think, 3 batteries. We swap them out and keep using them in the classroom.
I
So
really like the idea of being able to repair some of that on the fly inside the classroom. Having some codes in the classroom before you do end up with a little bit of breakage when you get multiple in the air with students. So it'll be really fun to see what comes with that and the coding aspect.
One of the things I really like about the HECC board choosing the tool is they really look at, okay, what is something that can be innovative in education? What's something that is just coming out, and we try to get that cutting edge. And so it's something that hasn't been tried out, like we talked about the Amazon Echo, but we got that first generation. I always think of the Sphero. Sphero was, we were once again, just kind of right off the line, here they were. And after I like to think that it was because of our conference that company just exploded. And they contacted us saying, when can we come back? And so I really like the fact that we look at something that it's coming right out for the first time. Sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're misses, but every year it's always something innovative or something different.
Last year we did the 3D printer. That was a huge hit. So
Yes.
I think we knocked it out of the park, I think 2 years in a row.
Oh yeah,
It's always
sometimes.
Yep.
always very interesting to kind of watch social media a week or so after HECC to see how these are starting to trickle into the classroom, how they're starting to be able to find. And I think that's a testament to the people that come to HECC, of getting those in the hands of students or finding ways to use them in this educational setting.
Our attendees too, just a quick overview. We're about a third teachers, a third instructional tech, a third techie people, whether that's directors or networking people. So we also try to pick a tool that can appease all of the people that come here. So.
Well, another big thing with HECC this year is it's on the tip of everybody's tongue, and that's AI. So, Jenna, what kind of AI tools are you using, if any, so far? What have you tried out?
A lot. The classic one I do still use a lot is ChatGPT. That's my go-to. A lot of times it's great for just that initial draft of mass communication we have to send out really quickly, and then I can obviously tweak it for specific information to our situation. But I use that a lot. We use it a lot for developing websites, and I've even used it to fix a little bit of code that I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and it really helped me out there. AI is crazy right now. To give you some context, we don't have an official theme of HECC, but if we did, it would be AI this year. Every single session room has at least one AI session, and they sold out very quickly. So it's definitely a hot topic, something that we'll be continuing to talk about for a long time.
It's pretty awesome to see some of the tools coming to life. I know, Kyle, you said you're using it with Adobe products.
Yes, Adobe Express has got it built in now, where our kids have access to that. I know that's AI is on, the reason why it's so popular here is because it's on every school's front burner of, okay, how do we deal with AI with students? How do we deal with AI with our teachers as well? And so I think this is a great place to see what other districts are doing and just having those discussions on where do we go into the unknown, because this is brand new territory that we have not forged before.
Like you said, Kyle, it's really starting to start being built into other products, and it's coming. Whether it be for Google Docs or on your Word doc or your Photoshop, it's just going to be built in from here on out, we believe.
Canva has it built into, and I love Canva. I've seen our teachers use it a lot as well. Really quickly make some great engaging books for students or build some presentations to help them deliver that content. So it's everywhere.
Kurt, what's one of the AI or one or two AI places that you go to?
So, words are hard sometimes. So I like Grammarly's AI that's built in, being able to change up some different words to give you some suggestions on how to be a little bit more clear or a little bit more stern if you need to be. On some of those emails and different things, but Byron from Google is also a good place to kind of switch from the ChatGPT over to the Google product and be a little bit more familiar with our district being such a Google district. So.
And I know a lot of our teachers have gravitated toward Curipod, which is a great place, especially if you have slide decks that you've already created in the past. You can go ahead and make those interactive, where it'll take your slide deck, you import it, and it will say, okay, here's some questions, interactive questions you could ask for students based on the content that you have in your slides, or just the social emotional aspect. It'll automatically create those slides for you. They're interactive, do word clouds, where they can vote, they can respond with sentences, and there's just a lot of cool things with GaragePod. I know a lot of our teachers have also using MagicSchool.ai. It's got a lot of very cool things, fun things as well. I know you can put in a person's name, a little few facts about them, and it'll create a song to whatever tune you want. So last night, I think that my song that I had it create was to TLC's Waterfalls, and so I may break that out. Yeah, I'm going to break that out in one of our later podcasts this week. So
Coming soon to every karaoke bar, right? AI integration.
I see a chat for you're here. Hey, Kurt, thanks for being here.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of great resources coming out for educators to be able to have kind of a nice walled garden to use AI in a safe space in the classroom and teach students how to use it appropriately. So,
yeah, I know one of our big concerns with working with our teachers with AI is a lot of the AI tools that are out there are really at this point not set up for students, especially under 13. And so educating our teachers on like, you can't have your kids go to ChatGPT and create an account when they're under 13 in our middle schools. And so really looking at what those privacy policies are, I think all that is going to change. I think especially as it continues to grow, it just kind of booms so quickly. It's going to be interesting to see which of those tools rise to the top, stay at the top, and which of them kind of fade away over time.
It'll be fun to come back and see which ones we picked and where we were.
Yeah.
Kind of like the first question there about antiquated technology that didn't win out, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, Jenna, we've just got a few more minutes left. We haven't really, to kind of finish up with our conversation. You are a board member of OG. You've been around for quite some time. You've been a co-chair here for a few years now. Tell us a little bit about your journey through HECC and maybe what got you here and why others might want to get involved.
Oh man, HECC honestly is amazing. It's changed all of our lives, I think, for the better. I think this is my 9th or 10th year being a board member. I got involved when I used to work at Center Grove Schools. My former boss was on the board and stepped away when she went into private sector higher ed. So I kind of got nominated for the board and put myself on the ballot and got on, I think, 9 years ago. And it's been fantastic. We have a really, really solid group of ed tech professionals who are passionate about this work, who are just great people in general. It truly is like a reunion. We love each other. We love to see each other. We love being here for the week and hanging out. So HECC in general is great. We meet throughout the year about once a month to plan this great event, and we are so excited about it every time we get together. Yeah.
So Kurt, and Jenna mentioned there was one person that kind of brought her to HECC and introduced her to HECC at her job. Who was it that kind of introduced you to HECC?
So I've kind of been coming to HECC for a long time as an attendee. I've always enjoyed it. There for a long time, I was a classroom teacher of the group, and I've kind of moved out of that role. But I would say the one person that really brought me to HECC would be Sean Mahoney from CMO. So Sean's a great guy. He's here today.
Yep.
And, he always brings home a lot of great material from HECC as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. Mine was Robbie Grimes, and he was an OG as well, and then went off and moved down to sunny Florida. Matter of fact, texted him this morning, and he's already missing it. So, as a matter of fact, he was going to join on our podcast, but he had a job call he had to take at that time. So we are almost out of time. I appreciate you joining us, Jenna. I know that this is a super busy week for you, and to take the time off to get us started this week, I appreciate it. Any last words from you, Kurt?
Just thanks for everybody coming here, and thanks to all our vendors. We really appreciate you to be able to help put this conference on for Indiana, all the attendees, and it makes a big impact in the state.
Well, we have one more podcast this afternoon where we have Matt Miller joining us with Stevie Frank. If you enjoyed talking about AI here briefly, we're going to really get into the weeds with those two. And if you've ever listened to Matt Miller or Stevie, you're in for a treat. So I hope you join us this afternoon and have a great week at HECC and hope to see you again.
Thank you.